wobble the table. And I actually listened to the... Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is a review of the Precious Stone Trilogy, also known as the Ruby Red Trilogy. Trilogy. I can do this, I swear. And this is written by Kirsten Gier, translated, because this was originally written in German. It's translated by Anthea Bell. I actually listened to these on Audiobook, and they were all narrated by Marissa Callan. So the synopsis is we have Gwyneth. She finds out the hard way she's a time traveler. And so now she has to team up with a fellow time traveler, Gideon, to solve the mystery of who they can trust and all that fun stuff. It's your typical secret society, who's backstabbing who, all that fun stuff. So it's okay. So I really enjoyed this series. It had me at time travel. This series I first heard about when I first was exposed to BookTube, and Ben from Benjamin of Tomes was just talking about this all the time, like in his TBRs and all that stuff, and it piqued my interest, but only recently did I find out there was time traveling involved, and I was like, sold. Me and my Doctor Who fan. Dumb. I'm a Whovian. I'm a New Whovian. So, but yeah, time travel, I was like, okay, I'm all about that. So, I'm just looking at my notes here, guys. So, Gwyneth is the main character. I really, really liked her character development. I thought it was well done, given the short span of the series. This entire series spans just a few weeks. Like, I don't even think it's a month. So there's a lot going on. And so I think her character development, from just thinking she's a normal person and then finding out, oh my god, I'm a time traveler, like, and then there's all of these expectations and all of these rules and everything from the secret society. You know, there's just all of this stuff thrown at her, and she was completely unprepared for it. So I think she did very well. Leslie is her best friend, and she's the typical I'm the best friend of someone special trope, but that's okay. I'm okay with that trope. I'm fine with it. She was a great friend, and I really loved her. Everyone needs a Leslie in her life. In their life. Excuse me. Zemarius was the best comic relief. I loved him. I wish he had more involvement, like, because he kept, like, I almost thought it was foreshadowing, but it wasn't, on how important he is. And I was expecting that, but it didn't happen. So I was a little bummed about that, because I absolutely love him. He's adorable. But he did his best. He tried as much as he could in his little Zemarius way. So, now, let's talk about the boy, Gideon. I did not like him. Like, ever. I didn't like him at all. And obviously, I did not like their romance. Because, hello, YA. It's gonna happen. So I didn't like him. I just didn't like him. He was a total jerk. Absolutely. Like, all the time. He seemed like a jerk. Like, even after he was like, no, I'm not a jerk. And it's like, no, you're a jerk. And the insta-love, because the series only takes place over a few weeks, it's totally insta-love. And maybe, huge maybe, on if the series had spanned a broader time frame than just that few weeks, maybe I could have gotten on board with their ending and them getting together and all of that thing. But I just couldn't. Nope. I could not do it. So, yeah. I hate saying that because a lot of times, like the YA romance, I'm like just totally for. It's, you know, I'm trash for it. So, you know, it's my brain candy. And I wasn't. I was more invested in Gwyneth and just her as, you know, this girl who's trying to be a badass and, you know, figure things out and blah, 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 blah. And, So, outside of the romance, we're just gonna move on from that. So outside of the romance, the plot was good. It was clever. There's always a lot of things you can do with a time travel story. And I did not see the twist at the end at all. I did not know who the villain was supposed to be. And I was just like, oh, no. Seriously? Seriously. Like, I know some people were disappointed that not all questions were answered, like not everything was explained, like how, like one of the things I saw on the reviews where people were complaining, like, oh, you didn't explain how the chronograph works or blah, 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 like they wanted like more detailed information. Well, first off, it's a YA book. You're not gonna always get that in YA. I would definitely expect that if it was an adult science fiction book, but for YA, it did its job. The other thing is, it's fucking time travel, people. It works, okay? Just accept it. It works. Let's just leave it alone. Okay? I mean, like, what's the difference between, oh, this chronograph works, and we just have to do this, and people can travel in time, versus, here, wave this wand and say these words and things happen. You know, like, it, anyway, so, so the narrator was fantastic. I really liked her. She has a slight English accent. I don't know if it's a real accent or not, but it's slight. Just so you know that this is where the story takes place. It all takes place in England. London, if I remember correctly. Probably not, but England. So, you at least are constantly aware of what country you're supposed to be in. It wasn't such a heavy accent that you couldn't understand her. I have listened to books like that, and I'm just like, well, what? Like, thick accents. No. You're gonna be able to understand her. It was really good. Well done. I really liked it. The thing with the audiobook is that in between chapters, there are different things, like excerpts from documents, family trees, like, see, this is the end of one chapter, and then this is an in-between chapter thing, and then there's the next chapter. So those in-between chapter things were a little difficult. One, sometimes it took a minute for me to realize, oh, what, because it would throw me off, and I'd be like, oh, okay. And the only reason I knew was because I had, this is the library copy, so I had the physical book, and I'm like, what's going on? Because sometimes I like to follow along, and so that's the only reason I knew. Otherwise, I would have been like, what is going on? Like, at one point they were reading a family tree, and it's like, what? So that's the only downside to the audiobook, but I still recommend it. I would recommend getting a physical copy of the book if you want to, like, better understand the in-between chapter things, because, like I said, there are excerpts from things, there's family trees, and sometimes you just need that visual, like, okay, there's this visual separation of things, and the audiobook doesn't come through that way, and that's just because of the limitations of an audiobook. So, I would recommend this book to anyone who is trying to test the waters with sci-fi. It's very easy on the sci-fi. You know, the only thing you really have to believe in is time travel. So, you know, there's that. If you are a YA reader and you're a Whovian, go for it. Go for it. I gave the narration 5 out of 5. Absolutely loved it. And with the actual series itself, right now I'm at a 3 out of 5. And here's why. Because if you don't know, the way I rate my books is 1 star is I didn't like the book at all. I probably DNF'd it. 3 stars is I liked the book, but I don't think I'll reread it. And 5 stars is I love the book and I'm going to reread it. I don't deal with 2 and 4 stars. Ratings are so subjective anyway. And part of me feels bad, like, for authors giving them a 3 star when I liked it. But I don't want to deal with, oh, well, is it a 4? You know, my actual rating is my enjoyment level. So, I like the series. I just honestly don't know if I'm going to reread it. So, that's why I'm like, I honestly just don't know. So right now we're at a solid 3 out of 5. It might go up to a 5 if I pick it up again. So that's where we're at. So let me know if you've read the book, what you thought. If you did a video or a blog post or anything, link it down in the comments. I'd love to check it out. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Shameless social media plugs are down in the description below, and I will see you in the next video. Later!